Hi, this is Eric Sloove over at ntpro.nl, and in this video I'm going to show you the creation of custom resources and also custom actions on custom resources. So what do we have? We have vRealize Automation 7 with a nice catalog, and we're able to deploy virtual machines based on blueprints in the catalog, and eventually they will wind up as an item. So the deployment's right here will show us some items. So what we want to do is we want to add resource pools to vCenter, but we also want to manage them from vRealize Automation. So let's jump to the Design tab right here, and let's start with the first step. So the first step involves that we jump to the XaaS section, anything as a service, and in this section we have to define a custom resource. So I already did a test run, and I created a resource pool custom resource. So I'm going to show you what I did. When you are creating a custom resource, you have to specify the orchestrator type, you have to specify a name and a description, and after specifying this information and providing a version, you have to get the details for the resource pools. So those are the properties that can be adjusted, and you can see where this one is used. So like I already mentioned, I already did a test, so there is one item provisioned based on this resource type, but this maps the vCenter resource to vRealize Automation. So once this resource pool type is created, you can go to the second step, and that's create an XaaS blueprint. So an XaaS blueprint means anything as a service, and you can tie an orchestrator workflow to a blueprint in your catalog. So let's jump to the orchestrator workflows that are available. So I'm running Orchestrator here, and if you jump to the section of vCenter right here, then within vCenter there is a special resource pool section with workflows for creating resource pools and deleting them and rename them. So these workflows are actually used, and based on these workflows I'm creating a blueprint in the catalog. So let's jump back to the XaaS blueprint. Let's go to the library. Let's select the vCenter section right here. And what we want to do is create a resource pool within vCenter. So the resource pool is corresponding with the type we selected at custom resources. The name we have to provide is the string for the resource pool. And then there is a new resource pool object. So create a new resource pool with a nice description already pre-filled. It's coming from the documentation in the workflow. We have to provide a version 0.0.0 and then hit next, and then we have to create a form which is used to interact with our customer when he wants to deploy this blueprint. So the only thing he has to specify in this situation is the name of the new resource pool. And then that's very important, we have to select the provisioned resource. If you don't do anything here, if you do no provisioning, then a resource pool is created in vCenter, but it's not managed to items in vRealize Automation. So if you select a new resource pool right here, then you actually are returning an object that is linked to a vCenter resource pool. So an item within vRealize Automation becomes the resource pool in vCenter. And that's pretty cool, because then we can do day 2 operations on an existing deployed object. Let's click Finish, and let's select this XaaS blueprint and publish it. By publishing a blueprint, you are allowing people to entitle this blueprint to an end user. The last step we have to take is a second day operation. So what we will do is we are going to select a workflow again, and this workflow will be a workflow that is available in the actions menu when you select an item deployed based on this blueprint. And we're going to vCenter again, and then we are going to the resource pool section, and we choose the rename resource pool workflow as the day 2 operation. So I click next. The resource type is resource pool. The input parameter is the selected resource pool within vRealize automation, which is the item, and it's linked to the vCenter resource pool. So this workflow will then rename the resource pool in vCenter. Let's click next. Let's provide some details. Rename the resource pool with a nice description learned from the workflow. We have to provide a version, and I leave the rest of these settings default. And then the form where you have to ask the user for the name of the new resource pool. Let's click finish. Don't forget to publish this action too, otherwise you're not able to entitle the action. So this is all done. This looks good, guys. Let's jump to administration and let's go to the catalog management. So what we will do in catalog management is create a new service, a new category, and in this new category I'm going to give people access to the resource pool. I'm browsing for I'm browsing for an icon. I always love to search for an icon. Day 2 actions. Request. Okay, cool. So the status is active. I leave all the other settings default. I'm clicking on OK and I've created my service. So that's the category where my new catalog item will be shown. Let's jump to the catalog items. So when I go to catalog items, I can see that create resource pool has become a catalog item. So that's cool. It's not published yet, or it's published but it's not entitled yet. It's not part of a service yet, so I have to configure this catalog item. It already has a real nice icon, so I leave it in the resource pool icon. It has the status active. The only thing I have to do is add this to the correct service, and I can put it on new and noteworthy so that it's displayed on your homepage if you have that portlet. Finish. Okay, so the actions are the day 2 operations we can perform on the resource pool. So if we jump to the second page here, we see that there is a resource pool action for XaaS, rename the resource pool. And this action also has an icon. We can't do anything yet. There's no entitlement, so let's create the entitlement. So in the entitlement, everything comes together, and we're going to create a new entitlement for the resource pool. The description: create managed resource pool, and there's no expiration date. The status is active, and the business group is test. And the user that's going to use this one is QA user 01. That's me, because I'm user QA user 01, so it will pop up in my catalog immediately. I click next and I have to select the service. So let's choose this newly freshly created resource service right here. I have to choose the items that are available in this service, and the item that is available is create a resource pool, and I have to select the action that can be performed on this resource pool. So let's search for the word pool, and then we will see, hopefully we will see the rename resource pool. Yeah, there it is, rename resource pool. That's the action that is allowed on an object created based on this blueprint. So let's click OK. And let's hit the finish button. So when I'm going back to my catalog right here, I don't know if I have news and newsworthy. So you can add those portlets to your homepage. And news and newsworthy, where are you? Oh, they used, yeah, right here. Oh, look, there is a new offering in my service. It's create a new resource pool. Let's check it out. Go to the catalog, hit the resource section, request a resource pool, and then we have to provide a description. My second resource pool. It's not the first one anymore. The reason is cool video. Cool video. And the next step we are going to take is select the general information. So here you have to select the root resource pool, or at least the parent where you want to create this resource pool. You can fix this value if you want to, but let's go to the data center cluster and then we're going to the management cluster, or the compute cluster, sorry, and then select resources. That's the root resource pool of the cluster, and the name we're going to provide is pool resource pool, whatever. Okay, so submit this and check out if it's really created. So we jump to the web client, and in the web client we can do a refresh. And when we do a refresh, we can see that there is a new task, a new recent task, and the cool resource pool is created. Cool, okay. Let's go back to the item section in vRealize automation. And here we have to do a refresh. So sometimes it takes a while before it's discovered. You can force the discovery when you go to infrastructure resources and then do a request now, but in most cases it will pop up. So let's go here. Now we should see the new resource pool. Woohoo! The cool thing, if you select this resource pool and you go to actions, then you should be able to rename this resource pool. So let's go to actions and rename the resource pool. The other one was a leftover from a previous test. So rename the resource pool. Okay, blah blah blah. So the new name of the resource pool is video succeeded. I can't type and talk at the same time. So video succeeded. Okay. So I have renamed the resource pool. I just did a second day operation on an object that I created based on a custom resource from within my catalog with my own service. Let's check out if vCenter really renamed the resource pool. So let's do a refresh here and then see if the resource pool has been renamed. Yes, video succeeded. So if we go back here and we go to the items, it should also reflect the new name, the video succeeded. So you can do literally anything, because if you look at the workflows that are available, so you can create resource pools, delete them, but also reconfigure them. And you can give more, but think about the possibilities. Everything you create, normally you give your users access to the web client and they only use a portion of the web client, but now you can give them access to vRealize automation as a management tool. Okay, well, have fun, and if you want to try it out, you should go to the hands-on labs, because there is a similar lab available there, and play around with Orchestrator and vRealize Automation 7. Eric Slouf is signing off. Bye bye.